Ladies and gentlemen, hey, Rick Berube here again on this Tuesday. Okay, it's actually awards day for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Arizona, California, and Nevada. That was my DJ voice. How'd I do? All right. And today, okay, we are speaking of award winners, okay, we have a Diamond Award winner. We also have she is the president of the Women's Council of Realtors for Las Vegas. She is also a real social media sensation, especially Instagram and now TikTok. Okay, Christina Cova Simmons to the show. Thank you. All right, and a hilarious husband, I might add.
Oh yeah.
All right, Christina, we know who you are in Las Vegas, but what about Arizona and California? Tell them a little about yourself, all that good stuff, please.
Sure, yeah. So I have been a realtor for 16 years. I got in when I was just about 21, so I was a young buck with no experience, really no, sphere to kind of go after, because most 21-year-olds at UNLV were not really looking to buy a house. So that's what kind of makes me a little unique. But I've been with Berkshire for probably 14 of those years. So I've been here for a while. And like you guys said, I'm a mom of two. I have two little ones. They're not so little now, 7 and 10. But man, I truck them around all the time showing properties. So it's been a good time. And I'm trying to train them now to help me with that social media, because God knows it's a lot of work for marketing. But it's a little bit about me. Yeah, I grew up here. I went to Durango High School. I went to UNLV. I have my business degree. And I love all things real estate.
Well, somebody on the other side of the camera has her degree from UNLV too, so that's good. All right. So, yeah, Sydney, my assistant, Sydney Smith. Anyway, okay, good. Well, I love UNLV. I hope my son's going to go there too, so for business as well. All right, so you've been doing this for 16 years. Give them a little like what was your production level last? I mean, I could tell them, but I think it's better if you tell them, please. How'd you do last year?
Yes, so last year was actually a really good year for me, as most of us in the city experienced quite a large intake of buyers and sellers. So I did I only actually did 26 deals, but I increased my sales volume. I did just under 12 million for the year. So that was pretty good I'm a one person team. I don't have any assistants. So yeah, working full time. I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm on track for this year to do that and hopefully more.
That's great. Well, you know what? 2 deals a month is pretty damn good. And you know, that's especially with all the other, you know, your mom, you got the Women's Council. It looks like you guys have a blast, by the way. I love your social media.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you got dancing videos going on. You got all kinds of video. I love when you involve your kids. They're in the car while you're showing properties. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair. And I'm sure your husband is very supportive too as well, isn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes a lot of time away from the family. So it takes a pretty dedicated, awesome partner. Like I couldn't ask for anything better. If I got to go on a weekend evening here and there, you know, I'll be cooking dinner and got to drop, and he's got to wash dishes, and I got to get in there and write an offer. He totally knows that business comes first. If he can help me out, obviously, he knows that my family's a priority. But making deals, it's 24/7. I mean, it literally last year, Thanksgiving, like the night before Thanksgiving, we're cooking dinner. Ivan Scher had an offer on a $1 million lot in the ridges of mine. Of course, I'm going to answer that call because that was a big deal. I was trying to close before year end. And I was like, okay, I'm prepping for Thanksgiving. Sorry, guys. You figure it out. I'm going to go talk shop. So that's just the life that you sign up for to be a realtor. And I'm a very hyper person. I'm fast paced. I don't like to be bored. So for me, real estate, the up and down crazy, I know it can be, but I enjoy it. And honestly, when times are slow, I'm just like, what's going on? What can I do? I need to be busy. I don't even know what to do with myself sometimes. So I think that I don't know any better, honestly. This is all I've ever done professionally. For the most part, I had like office jobs prior, but I am very, very detailed. I'm a paper pusher. I'm not a huge salesperson, which is funny. I'm in a sales job, but it comes naturally because I like to help people. And I'm a competitive person. I want to get something done quickly and sell it for this, best price. So I get that buyer or the home for the lowest price. So I'm just naturally just a go-getter in that sense. But the detailed part of me and getting things done and just paperwork. That's probably not the normal salesperson side of me. So I think that's why I do really well, because I can do it all. I can be the crazy salesperson, but I can also be the detailed paperwork person and do my addendums and get stuff, get my escrows closed on time. So I see like a lot of my lenders and my title people, they always compliment me because they're like, you're very unusual. And I said, I know, I'm such a nerd. Like I love the whole transaction.
That's great. Yeah, success in real estate. Who I think it was, I can't remember who said it, but they said it's like standing in a hammock, one leg juggling 6 eggs.
Absolutely.
Isn't that a great example?
It is such a great example. I feel like, I mean, sometimes it's really bad though when I'm walking around my house and I'm like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And it's in my hand, or, you know, and my kids are like, Mom, I'm holding it, you know, because you're juggling too many things. So we'll talk about that later. I feel like some things I've learned over this last 16 years that can hopefully help some people that are a little bit newer, because man, I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes and I'm still learning. That's for sure.
Well, to know if you're a, smartphone addict, this is the test. Okay, it's a new condition. Have you ever felt your phone vibrate in your pocket when it's not there?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So have I. It's crazy.
Yeah, I hear it. Like it's crazy. I'm trying to go to bed and I'm like, oh wait, I think I hear my phone. No, it's like I'm hearing things. I hear my phone and nobody's calling. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. So yeah, I remember a time when I was selling real estate back in New England. I did a deal on Christmas Eve in a hotel they moved and their deal fell through. They bought my listing on Christmas Eve and closed in 30 days. So that was, you know what, you do what you got to do, and like you said, you're helping people out.
Absolutely, and I love it. It's. I had a major deal just in January. It's actually a friend's brother. So pressure was on me because, of course, I get most of my business from referrals. And when things go bad, I'm that's not good. So, of course, I want to be at my best. And long story short, in this market, even at $600,000 in Summerlin, he couldn't really find what he was looking for. Offer after offer was getting multiples, and he wasn't ready yet to, come up there. And so we were losing out. And in the end, he was coming to a point where he said, you know what, Christina, I think I'm just going to stop looking and I'm going to renew my lease. And I said, no problem. Totally get it. So he was within days of renewing his lease, and a house came up, and literally at 10:30 a.m., it was in his same neighborhood, which is what he preferred to do. And I said, there's a house with a pool under budget in your neighborhood. You have to go see it. He's like, okay, I'm working from home today. We went there at 10:30, wrote an offer by noon. I called the agent and explained the situation that I understand. You just put on the market, but if I don't have an answer by tomorrow noon, my client's going to renew. And I came over like 10,000, not a big deal. And we got it. And he was just like, I can't believe at the, final hour, we pulled it through, and it was a better home. We just closed on it. Better, cheaper, with the pool that he didn't think he was going to get in his neighborhood. Like every check. And he was like, God, why couldn't have this happen? But it just happened that way. And sometimes it happens that way. So it's so fun when things work out that way. Super fun.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you've been doing this for a while now. Have you ever seen a market this crazy?
No, I have not. I mean, it reminds me back, of course, I was in the 2005 through 6. That's when I bought my first home and everything went shh. But I literally, that's like the number one thing right now. My biggest pet peeve when buyers constantly call me, or friends and family are in a restaurant. I have neighbors right now. I mean, I've gotten into major heated arguments lately. Oh, the market's going to tank. You should wait. Oh, the foreclosures are going to come. Wait. I'm just like, stop. Let me educate you, because I was in that market and I sold a lot of short sales and REOs in those days. And I'm going to tell you what's different. And so I go through the list and I'm like, look, people have equity. They're not going to walk away. They're not over leverage a ton of investors that own 20 houses on the same block. It's a little different right now. People are having skin in the game. So yeah, that gets my blood boiling right now when everyone's just like, oh my gosh, the market's going to tank. It's going to go down 100,000. I'm like, I'm sorry. Those days are gone. But let me know. I have money in the bank. I'm going to start saving. If all of a sudden I can buy Summerlin houses for 99,000, cool. Sign me up. I'll buy 10. So
Exactly.
I definitely have a big mouth, and I'm not afraid to
use
let
it.
everybody know. Yeah, especially when they're just not, they're speaking from nowhere of experience. And that's my job as a professional, though, to kindly educate them and say, guys, here's the differences, and here's what I think, but that's my opinion, and we'll know in a few years if you're right or I'm right.
Right. Well, 2006 and 7, okay, I mean, people owned 3 and 4 homes, no income verification, no verification of anything, down payment. Today, the people you're selling homes to, 35% of them are paying cash, and it's for them. They're going to live there. So this is a very see what happened is the floodgates on opened up. Like millennials started buying. There's a whole bunch of those people, those millennial people. I mean, people moving from California, Washington. I mean, we're just very fortunate. In one of our other markets too, in Phoenix, is that we're getting the mass exodus of people moving out of all those other states that have issues. When you have lovely Las Vegas, Nevada, that is pretty, especially from a tax standpoint, cost of living. You can buy a home here and it'll be less than renting it. That won't last forever. I agree with you 100%, Christina. We've got years of good. Here's what I said. Because a year ago I said, unless something crazy happens, and then something crazy did happen and it slowed the market down for 2 years. So here's my 2 months. So here's my new line. Unless a meteor hits the planet, okay, we're going to be good for a while.
Exactly. No one would have predicted the pandemic, but also no one would have predicted what would have come, that we've had the craziest real estate year. So you just never know.
You just never know. And I thought personally, when, let's face it, April and May, our closings were down 30-40% for 2 months. And then June was back up 75-80. Then July was 110%. So I thought it would have lasted a little bit longer than 2.5 months. And then who knew we'd come out of the gates that hot, and the interest rates are definitely helping. And the Fed has said, we're going to keep them stable through the end of 2020. There's another first. I can't tell you how many firsts that's happened in the last 12 months, and I've been doing this 36 years. The Fed coming out and saying we're going to hold rates steady for 3 years. I have never seen that before. And hopefully they do that. I mean, all kinds of, people paying 10-15% over asking price, eliminating appraisal contingencies and home inspection. Never seen that before. I mean, 2006 and 7 were crazy, but they weren't this crazy, and the market wasn't this healthy. So really good stuff in the can you imagine what the appreciation factor is going to be at the end of this year after people paying 10% over asking?
Oh yeah, crazy.
Yep, craziness. Okay. So what's your goal this year? What would you like to do, and how are you doing so far?
I want to do about 15 million as my goal. So I did about 12 last year. So yeah, and maybe go another 10 deals, 35 deals, because my goal always is not to be, I want to work smarter, not harder. I think all of us do. With being in the real estate industry for this long, I hope I've come to the point in my career. Last year, I had a record. I sold a house for $2.3 million. That was the most expensive house I've sold in my career. And so I liked that. I like being able to do a little bit of luxury, a little bit of move up buyers. I don't mind. I'll take anything. I sell $150,000 condos. I'm not that. I will do any and all. But I do like, obviously, with the home price average going up closer to 350, it's nice to be doing more 500 to 700,000 every now and then. So my goal is to do increase which I did last year, being able to increase my average sales price, which I think was more like the 4 to 450 price point, which is much better than in my previous years, was always in that 250, 350. And that sweet spot is always it's harder. We all know we're out there right now. It's so competitive in Las Vegas. Anything under 350 is just multiple offers and craziness. And I love those listings. They sell in a day or two. So those are great. But yeah, my goal is to do more deals, but also keep increasing my average price point and get up to that 15 million sales volume.
Yes. Well, do you remember back in 2007, 8, maybe it was, do you remember what the average sale price got down to for single families in Las Vegas?
Ooh, was it 125? I mean, I was selling houses for 100.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was 125. It got down to 125 and now it's back up to like 365. That's pretty crazy.
So, I mean, we had to do 40 deals those years. I mean, like that was rough. But we had to do what we have to do, and we'll do the same thing now. So we're very lucky.
And I'm assuming, but I'm assuming that great goals, by the way, that's about a 20% increase. You know, that's a great goal, and I'm sure you'll do it. I want to ask you too. You know, you're the president of the Women's Council. So what exactly? It looks like you guys have a blast, especially you got Bobby Gaudette. Wow, that was Bobby's dust hanging around the whole time. That was an agent I worked with back in New England years ago. Bobby dust hanging out. I see she's in the pictures with you guys. Looks like you guys have a blast. But what are some of the things that you do for Women's Council?
So at Women's Council, we are a national associate. We are right under NAR, under National Association. So we have networks throughout the entire country. And we do 2 events a year, normally without COVID. In May, it was actually done virtually. But our goal in November, we're supposed to be going to San Diego. So we have conferences just alongside NAR. And so that's the biggest perk, is like being able to travel and network with other realtors that are like-minded and part of the organization. I've got the referral network alone is really what it's about. I mean, my goodness, that it's beneficial for your business. But here locally, we're all about empowering women and men. Men can be members too, but it's mostly about empowering women, giving them educational opportunities and leadership opportunities. So we will have a lot of courses, a lot of networking opportunities, because right now we know how important it is that you have these relationships. When there's 15 offers on the same house, well, guess what? Mary Perry, Jillian Batchelor, some of Christina Chipman, some of my close friends, or Berube Rivera, all of them I met through getting involved with Women's Council. And now when I want to write an offer on one of their listings, guess what? It helps to know them and have a great relationship. And they know that I'm a professional realtor. I qualify my buyers and I close my escrows. So when they have a choice in front of their sellers, they can say, well, these are all the same offers, but this realtor, I actually know her and she's a pretty good realtor. So if you don't really mind, you know, this might be someone we should work with, and that doesn't hurt. So locally in Las Vegas, I would say if you've never been to one of our events, hopefully they'll share my information. Get in touch with me. We have our first in-person luncheon April 7th from 11 to 1 at TPC Summerlin. And so we do lunch and learns, quick, 1 hour, power hour, have some lunch, get some great information, network a little bit, work the room, and get to know some of your local top-notch, top-producing realtors that are part of our organization. And then that will help you grow, hopefully, if you have any aspirations to grow within your association. Ours is LVR. A lot of our presidents, they move on to be board of directors, they move on to be presidents of other nonprofits. So it's just a great stepping stone to really learn leadership, skills and confidence, public speaking, all those good things that come along with running a little nonprofit.
All right, good. So now let's get to my favorite question. Okay, so you're an experienced agent, you're a top producer, you got great repeat and referral business. Okay, if you could give them the 3 most important pieces of advice that you've learned since you've been doing this, what would they be?
Number 1, for me, my biggest weaknesses is consistency. I mean, Rick, Mark, Aldo, everybody in my life has given me so many tools. And unfortunately, you get busy and you get tunnel vision and you're all about closing that deal. I get it. I've been doing this for a while. But I have to say, don't do what I do and get off the boat. All of a sudden, you don't send out your postcard to your farm for 3 months like I did this year. Be consistent in your marketing. And we already know at this point, we have to be everywhere. So a little bit of Instagram, a little Facebook, whatever you're doing, AdWorks, sprinkle yourself so that you're getting some old school magazines. If you're doing postcards, whatever you're doing, online social media stuff, definitely spread yourself everywhere so you kind of have a little bit, but be consistent, because I feel like, gosh, I would do my farming really good for 3 or 6 months. I'd get a listing from my neighborhood, I rock it out, and then I forget to send out the just listed, just sold, or I just forget to do them for 3 months. So that's my biggest thing, is I'm always complaining about, why am I not my neighborhood realtor? I know this neighborhood. I know Summerlin better than anybody. I live here, I work here, and I'm on my HOA, like all these things I'm doing, and I'm not really seeing my neighbors calling me to list their home. Well, I'm not exactly sending out consistent marketing to them. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not door knocking. I'm not doing the things that I could be doing. So be consistent and do those things when it comes to marketing, because it's so important right now. It's always important, and it's even more important right now if you want to get those listings in a market that is, we're dried up of inventory. So that's my biggest thing right now. I'm kind of hitting myself about. So consistency. Number two, what I struggle with constantly is delegation. I'm a control freak. Like I said, I love paperwork. I love to have the entire transaction in my hands. I have a friend who I got licensed 4 years ago. She's amazing. She's a good friend of mine. She's a full licensed realtor to be my assistant in my TC. I don't even utilize her as much as I should. And that's the biggest mistake that I've made, because I could have really catapulted my business. And I've seen within the last 6 months, when I finally decided to like loosen the reins a little bit and give her more of my files, more of my transactions, and just take it over, let me move on to the next. That's when I really started doing more business last year. So delegation, knowing when to like get a TC, knowing when to hire an assistant, because you really can't afford not to. You need that help if you're growing at a certain point of your business. And even for me, knowing when to build a team. I should have probably started a team years ago. But once again, it's my insecurity. I have to have every control of this, and I'm working through this. And I know that that's probably where I need to be going for the future of my business too. So delegation. And like I said, I think there's so many things. Self-care is a big thing for me. I let my weight go. I was eating terribly. I was miserable because business was so busy. So self-care, take a day off, eat right, exercise. It's simple, but so important. But I know I was only supposed to be at 3, but I'm going to give you 4. Get involved. Like I said, get involved with your association, with Women's Council, with ARIA. Just get involved with your brokerage, because you need to get involved, especially on your local association. Build those relationships, guys. If you're just staying in your office or you're just working from home, that's not enough. Start going to your office meetings, start going to some committee meetings at your local association, and get involved with your realtors. I know everyone thinks, why do I want to hang out with my competition? That's not the way to be thinking. Build those relationships. That they'll help you.
Yeah, and this is a business of relationships. So I love what you said. Be super consistent and persistent, because I know that you're persistent too. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, that is such an important point, because a lot of people get started. They have 2 or 3 deals going, and then the wheels come off the bus, and then they close them, and then they have nothing going in the pipeline anymore. Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's a critical point. And then I love to stay connected. All of those are really, look, if you could just, develop your relationships with your clients, your sphere, okay, your coworkers as well, okay, and like you said, this business is really about 10 to 15% of the agents doing 85 to 90% of the business. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's always the same people you see. That, especially Vegas, it's so small. I mean, California, you're huge, Arizona, but Vegas is such a small market that it really is the top 150 agents. You see them, it's the same people. The same people, and they're doing 80 to 90% of the deals. So if you can break into that group and let them know who you are and be part of that group, eventually you're going to just start doing more deals, and people are going to know who your name, you know your name. And it doesn't hurt when that contract comes through that email and your name's on it.
Right. Absolutely. And which goes to the second point, which is delegate. You said delegate. Now, most people don't understand that, like in real estate, you get paid for talking to people, going on appointments, negotiating deals, doing lead follow-up, right? Those things that are those high billable hour activities. Everything else, you're making $15 an hour. That sounds cold, but it's a fact. So if you can have somebody take away, and it makes your customer service better, not worse. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Especially if you have a great person. Obviously, you have to find a really good person you can trust. But once you do, they feel like so taken care of. You've got 2 people, 3 people, whatever, how many people are on your team servicing that client.
Is critically important. Yeah. And then you said self-care. That's one of my favorites. Get up early, go to the gym. People, people ask me in my coaching all the time, can you help me with my diet? Can you help me I go, you're not going to like me if we do this. I always tell them that. Tell me what time you go to the gym. I don't. Well, that's a problem. Even when they go at night, I tell them you should go in the morning. Studies show that what happens to your heart rate, your metabolism, sticks with you all day. It's now at night's great, but in the morning is way better. So I mean, having and then I'm like I saw you put your whole journey on social media, which really kept you accountable, didn't it?
I did. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I just put on a couple of pounds during Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so now I'm doing it again. I'm like, okay, here's another 6-week challenge. It's so great for my accountability. And I felt like that really let people know that I'm human and I struggle, and my clients really appreciate it to watch that journey, and it's motivating them. I've had so many people reach out and say, I saw what you were doing, and I'm an open book. I will send them my meal plans and what I'm doing and where I'm working out and just whatever I can to help people. Because once again, I'm a helper. That's me by nature. And I feel like that part of my journey, I never thought that it would be so impactful, but that brought me so much closer to my sphere.
I love it. Well, you know what? I just want to say this was a joy. This was awesome today. I really enjoyed it. It's a pleasure speaking with you. Okay, obviously you have your client's best interest in mind. It's very obvious that you love your job. You're energetic. You're enthusiastic. No wonder people go to you to help them. It's very obvious why.
I love it. I'm super passionate, and like I said, I love it. It fuels my fire to get more, and it's why I wake up, what I do.
Yep, I love it. And well, thank you very much, Christina, for taking out your time today. Absolutely. All right, really appreciate it. All right, we'll see you soon, everybody. Thank you very much, Christina. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, take it easy.